Hello and welcome to this week's post-processing in Lightroom video, in which I'm going to show you how I created this dreamy forest scape from this original shot straight out of the camera. I knew when I took this picture that it would make a perfect composition for a dreamy dream world image where I wanted to create the feeling you were walking across this bridge sort of into the light and maybe into a dream. But first we'll look at some of the more basic Lightroom settings that I use on most of my images. So we'll start with the clarity and just bring that up. That just gives the image a little bit more pop. And add a little bit of vibrance to the scene as well, just to make it a bit brighter and more interesting to look at. Now we can see up here in this top part of the image that it's a little bit overexposed. I'd like to bring the highlights down in order to give a more consistent feel across the entire image. So I'm just going to bring those down to around about 40, and you can just see that helps to make it a bit more consistent from top to bottom. I'd also like to bring out a little bit more of the detail in the foreground. It's not immediately apparent to me that this is a river at the moment, and I'd like to just to bring that out a bit more. So I'm going to bring up the shadows a bit, just to around about 50. And then I'm also going to increase the whites just to bring a nice feeling of sunshine and a bit more light to the image. Not too much, but I'll bring that up to around about 30 just there. So now we've sort of got our more typical sliders in place. I'm going to start trying to create this dreamlike feeling that I'm going for, and the first thing I'm going to do is increase the temperature to give the image a yellow hue. So if I move this slider gradually up, you'll see as the image becomes more and more yellow, which I like to think creates a sort of dreamy feeling. And I've applied this to a few of my images to achieve the same effect. Now, the only part I'm not happy with on this image now is this top third. I still feel like it's overexposed, it's too bright, and it's drawing attention away from the end of the bridge and this pathway, which is what I'd like the main focus of the image to be. So I want to make some local changes that only affect this top part of the image. So to do that, I'm going to use the graduated filter just here. And what this does is it allows you to, if I just drag this down from the top, you'll see those lines, and it means that at the top of this filter, it's going to apply the settings strongly, and as you get more and more, or closer and closer to the end of this filter down here, it's just going to blend those changes in nicely so it's seamless with the rest of the image. So here what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the exposure down. And now that I've done that, I've sort of lost a little bit of the yellow colour that I had up there in those trees. So I'm also going to increase the temperature again, but just locally within this filter. Again, so we have a more consistent feeling across the whole image. And I'm also going to increase the saturation slightly as well. And there we have a more balanced image. If we just switch between the history here on the left hand side, you can go back and see what it looked like before. So if I just switch back from there to there, I think you'll see it's a more balanced image from a lighting perspective overall, and it helps to draw your attention to the centre of the image rather than what's going on around the outside in those light trees. So now that we're happy with that, there's one final thing I'm going to do. Now, to increase this feeling of a dream that I'm trying to create, I want to almost create sort of a tunnel vision effect where it really feels like the image is pushing you to focus on this bridge and to walk across it. So I'm going to add a vignette to do that, which will be down here in the effects panel here. And if you slide this to the left or the right, it will give you either a black or a white vignette. I'm going to slide to the left to give a black vignette. And I'm going to do quite an extreme vignette. Normally I I either don't vignette or I put a tiny vignette on somewhere around 3 or 4, but on this image I really want to have this tunnel vision effect, so I'm going to bring that down quite a lot, probably somewhere around there, and you'll see that really pulls you into the middle of this image and brings your attention to the focal point that I'm trying to put across. And I think we're done. So that's the final image. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a short one this week, as I was just trying to demonstrate really the use of the graduated filter. And I'll see you in 2 weeks for the next one.